Do you struggle with keeping up the grind and shortly after winter you fall back off your routines, gaining all the way back? Gone are the days of feeling shame, disappointment, and guilt because I've got 5 ways to achieve your ultimate lock-in. So let's begin. Our first way to fully lock in is to stop the procrastination early. If you say that you're going to do something, you need to be very serious and actually achieving it. So if you say you're going to work out early and then you don't show up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to actually do your workout, you are not taking your workout schedule and your health seriously. Because what most likely is going to happen is that if you have to work or if you have a busy schedule, when you get home, you're not going to show up. So that is why it's very important to show up before you do anything else in your day so that you can get your workout in and have no excuses and no reason to achieve your weight loss goals. The more you push things off and the more that you procrastinate and the more you say that you're going to do it, the less likely you are to actually do something. There should be no excuse as to why you're not getting your workout in because there are always some type of workouts that are shorter than others. So if you do not have an hour or even 30 minutes, you can do 5 to 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever works in your schedule. But getting in some type of movement is going to be better than nothing because at least you would be showing up instead of not showing up at all. So in other words, being lazy and distracted is not going to give us our results. So please do the work and do what you're supposed to do so that you do not have to push off your results so that when you achieve this, like 6 months from now, you won't have to look back and be disappointed that you didn't start sooner. Also, always prepare ahead of time so that you don't give yourself a reason to even think about procrastination. If you create to-do lists and if you plan ahead of time, and prepare like your workout sets, setting your alarm, setting your environment so that you get more sleep so that you can actually wake up at a certain time, the more likely you are to have more energy so that you can do your workout and not have any excuses to sleep in and do what you're supposed to do. It's all about stopping ourselves ahead of time or changing our environment so that we do not give ourselves the opportunity to even think about skipping anything. Speaking of being consistent and locking in, we're going to talk about setting goals that are going to be easy for you to stick to. We don't want giant goals and we don't want too hard of goals to reach. Instead, we want to set our goals to be quite easy because the easier something is, the higher of the chance you are of actually sticking to it. No, I don't mean getting rid of discipline and willpower because we need those things too, but they are not the most important things entirely. So an example of a realistic goal that you can set is if you want to eat more vegetables and increase your micronutrients, increase your nutritional profile of your meals, then you can add in more veg on the side of those meals so that we are getting in more of those micronutrients and getting in more fiber and making it more filling altogether. And as time goes on, you can slowly add more veg onto your plate or even add them like in between your meals, so like your snacks, so that you can feel fuller and help yourself to get in more nutrients. It's all about adding easy set goals that you can stick to and making them pretty easy. So adding a little bit here and a little bit there adds up when it comes to building a consistent, healthy lifestyle. Another example of a goal that you can set is if you want to meditate more and reduce your stress is another goal that you can set is if you're trying to meditate more, starting off with 5 to 10 minutes and slowly adding a progression from 10 to 15, 20 to 30, but it's totally okay if you do not have that much time. Again, consistency and doing what works for you is going to keep you more consistent and help you see more results over time. A third example can be if you want to drink more water, starting off with 1 liter and then increasing it to 2 liters, but be very mindful on how much water that you're drinking because we are not all the same when it comes to increasing our water content. Some people will drink gallons Other people will drink liters. You just have to pick what's going to feel best for you. So if you only feel comfortable with drinking 2 to 3 liters of water, and that's where you're able to stop before you feel like weak or dizzy or just off, it's very important to monitor that, track that, write that down, write what you're feeling down, because you can use that in the future to stop yourself when you're going too far. So always make sure that you're paying attention to how you feel and being very mindful on what is going to work. But with that being said, our third way to fully lock in is to make a plan of what goals you want to keep. It's always very important to prioritize goals that you're going to set and keeping them easy and things that you can stick to. But it's also very important to understand which ones that we actually need and ones that we need to get rid of. Some goals are kind of unnecessary and we're most likely not going to stick to them because other people are doing them and their routine and their lifestyle and their overall life looks different than ours. And so that's not going to mimic our life. Again, if you're trying to get up earlier and you're trying to spend more time for yourself and complete all your tasks and work out and journal and meditate, waking up at 4 a.m. is not going to work for you because you might not be getting a certain amount of sleep hours that you need to actually wake up and not feel miserable. The key to waking up early is you need to not make it dreadful and miserable. You need to make it so that you actually can tolerate it, so that you can actually enjoy it, so that you can continue to do it every single day. On average, the amount of sleep that adults need to properly function is anywhere between 7 to 8 hours. So if you are not getting 7 to 8 hours, you're most likely not going to function in the way that you need to, and your head is going to hit the pillow. Once that alarm goes off, you're going to go back to sleep. I do it all the time. Make sure that you're setting a time to sleep early so that you can wake up early. So for example, if you want to keep that goal of waking up at 4 a.m., what I'd recommend is going to sleep at 10 p.m. so that you can wake up at 4 a.m. That way you will get a duration of 7 hours of sleep. And remember, it's totally okay if you cannot achieve this. This is just an example if you want to keep that goal of waking up at 4 a.m. Also, always pay attention to your why behind everything. So if you want to wake up at 4 a.m., what is your why? Why do you want to wake up at 4 a.m.? Why do you want to work out at a certain time? Why do you want to eat healthier? Why do you want to meditate? Why do you want to journal? Why is very important and it dictates the true meaning and it'll help you get down to your true root of your why. The more that you ask your why with everything, the more you're going to get deeper, deeper, and deeper into that root so that you can get to a bigger meaning and a bigger why that will push you and drive you in the right direction. Our fourth way to lock in is to stop letting outside influence control the choices that you make. So this could look like fixing your social circle. If your friends are not supporting your goals and what you value, it's time to find new friends. Your friends should be supporting you in what you value and improving yourself instead of trying to distract you and keep you in this bubble. If they are doing things that you don't support and you don't value and you know that they are not going to work for you and that they are wrong and they don't fit into the lifestyle that you're trying to create, then it's very important that you surround yourself with people that are going to mimic that kind of lifestyle that you're trying to live. So if they are like eating out and if they're going to parties all the time and they're spending late nights like gaming or on their phones scrolling mindlessly and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, then you need to do the exact opposite and find people that are going to work for you, because the people that are around you are going to influence the choices that you make and the future that you build for yourself. In order to build a healthier, brighter future, you need to surround people that actually like to work out, that actually like to journal, that actually like to meditate, that actually love to eat healthy. So in other words, their identity has to be one that you support and one that you want to mimic. It's great that you want to do things for you, but sometimes our social circle helps us to build that lifestyle that we're looking to build. Our fifth way to properly lock in is to remove content that keeps you in a mindless trap. Like what I was saying before about mindless content and your friends influencing you to keep scrolling, is that mindless content keeps you in a trap. And this trap influences how much time you actually waste and how much things that you actually get done. Some examples of mindless content that keeps you scrolling is brain rot content, mukbangs, comparison content, extremist content. And extremist content is basically where you have people that have a higher level of success, and you will usually see like these billionaires or millionaires that will tell you to do something that doesn't actually align with the goals that you're trying to achieve, and it doesn't set a realistic goal that is going to work for your life and your situation. And not all people that make this kind of content are extremists. Not all of them are out of touch, but what I've noticed is that some content and influencers that are trying to make money are basically giving you goals that you have to, start this business, and you have to constantly grind and you have to constantly hustle, and they don't fit your situation, especially when you're first starting out in life and you're trying to build yourself in a way that's going to upgrade your overall life financially, mentally, physically, everything. So if some random influencer like a billionaire or a millionaire is trying to give you or sell you a program that is really extreme, that has you waking up too early, or has you doing too many things, too many exercises, and really burning you out and not giving you enough rest, and saying that you have to do these things, or if you don't do them, you won't reach your dream body and you won't get your results and you won't lose weight, that is usually predatory content that you need to stay away of and be mindful of. And lastly, comparison content can be a trap because we always try to compare ourselves to somebody else that we find more attractive, more wealthy, more successful, fitter, prettier, smarter, stuff like that. And we compare it to our life and the way that we look all the time. As humans, we are known to comparison. So avoiding comparison is going to be super important when you're trying to build a healthy lifestyle. These 5 tips will boost your productivity and beat procrastination as long as you set realistic goals and do the things that will keep you consistent. If you need more help on how to stick to your habits, feel free to take a look at my newest video on how to put your brain on autopilot so that you never fall off your progress. Just remember, never be too hard on yourself, and remember, keep grinding.